Hello, hello, this is Paper Cuts Included coming to you live from the Ninja Turtle sleeping blanket, and that's how I know it's legit. Today we're going to be doing an Under the Microscope of one of my favorite comics of all time. That being Mark Millar and John Romita Jr.'s original series, Kick-Ass, Issue 1. But before we get into that, if this is your first ever Paper Cuts Included video, we are a comic book YouTube channel dedicated to talking about comic books, comic book art, art in general, under a technical aspect. It is ran by me and my two co-hosts. We are all three working artists and just want to talk about what we love. And what we love is comic books. So we look at comic books under a technical aspect. We'll look at the artwork. We'll say, why did this artist do this? What works? What doesn't? We'll give our own input in. Yes, I'll talk about the story, but it's more so of us breaking down the book on a technical art aspect. Channels that are really good about blending the two, if you're looking for more of a story, is channels like Comic Tropes. Whereas I'd say it's an 80% me splitting it. It's 80-20. 80% of me is talking about the technical aspects, where 20% is talking about the actual story. So before we look into it, let's look at the let me show off some of my artwork real quick to prove that I'm a working artist. I'm working on some comic book and movie prints right now. I love printmaking, so I'm working on a neutralizer print right now from the 2012 Ninja Turtle show and a Frank Miller Ronin print. Just little reduction prints, just playing around with some printing. I like printing a lot, and I'm always working on one. And then a big wooden reduction one. I'm rewatching the Mad Max movie, so here is Humongulus from the Road Warrior, and yep, I'm just effing around with some prints. If you want to see more of my artwork, my links will be in the description, including my Instagram, along with my TeePublic. If you see something you like, you can buy a T-shirt, a sticker, a coffee cup, or you can DM me. Most of my stuff is prints, so I got a lot of them for sale. But that's me paying the bills. So let's get back to the book. So this, Kick-Ass was probably one of the, if not the first comic book I read without a recommendation. I actually watched half the movie first, realized I hated the movie, and I was like, well, let me read the comic to see if it's any better. And I fell in love with it. This comic is so much better than the movie. I know a lot of people like the movie. I know one of my co-hosts loves it. So I'm sorry, Dylan, but I hate that movie. I don't see why you like it. But the book's amazing. It is in my top probably 5 favorite books of all time. I was actually worried about rereading it because I didn't want it to lose its magic. I wanted to remember it being really good, and it is. I can safely say it's made me fall back in love with it, and I can't wait to do the rest of the issues. So we'll probably be looking at the first series every other week an issue. But let's finally get into it. And what's the back cover look like? Okay, it's just like that. Okay. So before we look at the inside, we do a little segment. Is the cover successful? And what I mean by that is, do we look at the your goal as an artist, if you're doing comic books, one of your probably the biggest goals is to sell the book. You need some way to keep the lights on. You need a way to, get new pens, new pencils, put a cheeseburger in your belly. You need to find a way to sell a book. And one of the first ways to sell it is have a good cover. If you have a bad cover, people are going to walk past it. If you have a good cover, hopefully they pick it up. Some people just buy for covers and then read them. I know that's how I started. I just picked up books that had cool covers. So does this look, is the cover successful? And it is, but it doesn't break the mold. There is a little bit of intriguing. We do have the arm of our main character punching a baddie, with the title, The Greatest Superhero Book of All Time is finally here. So, it has the elements of a good cover, but I wouldn't say it's a great cover. It's probably a 7 out of 10, whereas it's not good, or it's not bad, and it's not stellar. It's just a solid cover, and that's kind of how some of the covers go for this series. They're either pretty good, okay, and then you have some really good ones, but it's a great book. It's a solid book. Let's get into it. But no, this is probably one of the only John Romita Jr. books I own. I don't know. I guess I don't look for John Romita Jr. that much. But I read Kick-Ass digitally at first, and then once I, fell in love with it, had to get the books. So, and look, Tom Palmer inks it. Palmer's Picks dude. or maybe is it the son of? That's his son. But no, let's just get into it. And you know, I feel like I just said we're going to talk about more of this art, but Kick Ass has such a great story. It's kind of a love letter towards comics. It asks that question, what would really happen if a normal everyday guy became a superhero or just a hero? No one has powers in these books. No one's just no one's shooting lightning bolts, wielding Mjolnir, but it's a great story. I think everyone should read it. Each series kind of ends really good. It is a three-part story. There's Kick-Ass, Kick-Ass 2, and then Kick-Ass 3. I haven't read the Kick-Ass follow-ups, with the new Kick-Ass, but, maybe one day. But no, the story starts with kind of the our main character narrating it. What's happened? Is this our main character? You know, and just asking that question. Why hasn't anyone been a hero? Is the world so thrilling that no one's decided to? And so we think we're seeing our main character done really well here. The coloring's really good. Who does the colors? Dean White. Dean White's, doing some solid coloring. It really works with this random guys. Because spoiler alert, this isn't the main character. Costume, it does look like an actual costume that someone would make, not some flamboyant colors that really compete with the scene, but earthy tones, red feathers. It works. And then we find out that no, that can't be our main character because he dies just like that, And this is set after the events of our main character is what we learn. I really love this car crash scene. All those motion lines. Just it's very obvious these motion lines are going down where these are going away, and that's done with this really solid line work. And having a really good just crumbled body effect too. Like it's hard to draw people laying down. I can only imagine how hard it is people, crumble. The foreshortening, making those legs look natural where you can't see the thighs. It just works really good. And all the expressions. John Romita Jr. is probably one of the best working artists right now when it comes to newer artists. Which I know he's getting up there in years, but I still think he's really good. I guess good. I'm not going to say he's not good anymore, but 10 years ago, people were like, John Romita Jr. is the best guy now. He's the hottest guy, him and Jim Lee. But, you got some new kids on the block now. So I'll have to deep dive into that because I don't read new comics. I kind of stopped reading new comics senior year of high school. And now I'm a senior in college, so I haven't read new comics in about 4 years. So let me know what your favorite newer artist is. Who's up and coming? Who should I check out? Who should we check out on the channel? I know we just look at older books, so maybe we'll start looking at new stuff. But no, now we're cutting to our actual main character, and it's a really ingenious, a storytelling tool as old as time. Cutting to, I guess the present, and then going back and telling the whole story. And our character is in trouble, with some really good, really well drawn expressions. He looks like he's in pain, which he is. He's got what will turn out to be jumper cables to his testicles, and it tells that he's in pain, and the coloring's really good. I love the blood coming out of his mouth and his nose. It sells. If that blood wasn't coming out, I think it would lose a lot of its look and a lot of that really well done pain gimmick. And our character just looks really good too. I'd say so. This is our main character. We're just gonna call him Dave because that's his name. I'm not gonna say his full name. All throughout the book, Dave Lisicki. We're just gonna call him Dave because I doubt you want to hear me mispronounce it all the time. But no. Kick-Ass follows the story of Dave, and Dave, just looks like I feel like a great interpretation of a lot of us comic book fans. Kick-Ass is a story about him becoming Kick-Ass, and kind of dealing with that of an actual hero-dom. And I think he looks the part. John Romita Jr. does good. He has the same haircut I had in high school. He looks really good. I didn't wear glasses, but that stereotypical scrawny high schooler, the bowl haircut, chewing on his pen even, But it just, it just works, and even the storytelling works really good. Of him being a comic book nerd, he likes Scrubs, Stereophonics, the Goo Goo Dolls, Entourage, Snow Patrol, Heroes, and the movie of Ryan Reynolds. That sounds something I would say. I don't really like any of those. But when I was in high school, I liked Kiss. I liked, what comics was I into at the time? Hellblazer. That just sounds like a good high schooler response, because he is a high schooler at the end of the day. You know. But no, and we're getting his origin right here now in the first issue. Almost like in a video you'll see me and my co-host and best friend talking about the shooter way, where you need to introduce your your audience. Every issue should be a first issue, which I guess that doesn't make sense if this is the first issue. But what I was trying to go with is, when your hero appears, the audience needs to know what's his entire deal in that first appearance. And we're getting his origin really summed up. He's unlucky with the ladies. He's apparently trying to talk to this girl, and she calls him a stalker, a weirdo. We learn that his mom's dead. From just a brain aneurysm, not gunned down like Uncle Owen. You know, and does that easily could have been the reason for him to become a superhero, which is usually the case in these kinds of books. But no, he zones out. He plays video games, while his dad's crying in the room next over. Done really well here with just the really muted colors on all of it. This is a book that's just, if I had to sum it up, down to earth. It works. If you just want a good story, Kick Ass is there for you. And now we go to him and his friends at a comic book store in that school, just talking about talking about comic books. They're talking about how Magneto looks horrible in the Fantastic Silver Surfer movie as a cloud. you know. And then at lunch, they're asking, or Logan, or Dave, or is it Dave or is it Logan? It's Dave, isn't it? Dave. I don't know why I want to keep calling him Logan, but Dave keeps asking, why hasn't anyone done a superhero thing? You know, why haven't just done it? And they're like, oh, because they'd mess you up. Don't even think about it. But he does a good question. Why does everything have to be about money? Why does everyone want to be Paris Hilton but not Spider-Man? You know, and this book makes you think. It made me be like, I wonder what I would do if I was a hero. What would my gimmick be? How would I do it? Would people F me up? And the answer is yes. I ain't trying that. But I wonder if this book did spawn people going out there doing good for the community. Because, spoiler alert, that's kind of what the story becomes. And I won't get into further because I really want to read this series with you guys. But no, and so pretty, really quick, we have, our character Dave asking the question, why hasn't anyone done a hero? And then finding out that, well, he's going to do it. What just a great way to, get that story rolling. If this was a Marvel book, we'd spend a whole issue or two of Dave being miserable in his life. But, now just a third of the way through the book, he's becoming Kick-Ass. Or I don't know if he calls his name, if he comes up with his name yet. And I just noticed this, but really good metaphor that, his life gets horrible in these books. Like he goes through the ringer. So having a painting of fire really shows you the hell that he's about to do for just wanting to help people. And we're going to see how people respond to that. And his horrible, boring life does kind of take a turn for good from just becoming a hero. He's working on himself. He's, I guess studying in a way to become a hero, just having a lot more confidence in himself. So we see that good, and now we're going to see the bad part. And it's done really well here. Just a quick segment. Like, this book's really good because I think volume 1 is 6 to 8 books. So not a whole lot of pages to work with, but yet they don't waste time, really. They keep going and do it really good. It flows. It works. Like, we're only spending, half a full page of his boring part, and now he's actually gonna go perhaps beat up some ruffians, save the day, beat up some no do-gooders. So what's gonna happen to him? Well, we he picks the wrong fight. He fights with them with I guess a billy club, if you will. To find these misguided youth is what I guess I'll call them. And it doesn't take long. It's 2 full pages of action, and it's done really well. Hill, John Romita Jr., not Mark Miller. John Romita Jr. is a great solid artist. So his art is very specific too. It is very fluid. It's but stocky in a way. Like all his characters look like they have weight to them. Like Dave's character in the wetsuit does look very scrawny, and he keeps that look, I think, for all 3 volumes. He is the scrawny character. We can fully see that, like most readers. I know when I was in high school, I was this weight and probably that height. Now I have a couple pounds on me after the married life, but no, at this time I was skinny as a twig, like old Dave here. So I guess that's a good characteristic of John Romita Jr.'s artwork, is he's really good at creating figures, drawing people, giving them each different weights. And that's important in art. Don't make all of your characters have the same weight. Give them differences. Make one taller than the other. Make, one have a big jaw, a little jaw. Just come up with different ways to make your art. But no, is Kick-Ass gonna pull a Batman and just, you know, beat up all the thug or misguided youth, as I just said, really quickly? Just be a badass? Well, no, because pretty soon he gets stabbed right in the gut, and that ain't good. Because this is a grounded comic. If you get shot, you gonna die. So if you get stabbed, you're probably gonna die. And I just love, like, the costume looks beat up. It looks broken. He does really good jobs at making the characters really feel like, yeah, they just fought, you know? And it works. It's a quick fight. It's a quick book. This was a quick read, but a really good read. And the compositional work's really straightforward too, and makes it a fluid read. You're just going up and down the pages. You're not zigzagging like in a Z, or like a Darrow book. It's very straightforward and just good. If you want a quick read, a very good, it reads super well. I haven't gone to a point in this reread where I'm like, oh, I need to reread that a couple times. So there's another thing. If you want to find a book that's really good fluid wise, really good at just flowing, you need help with that, look at this. And wanting the running jokes is when it rains, or I guess running jokes, I probably said jokes. Running jokes in this book is when it rains, it pours for poor old Dave, because he's stumbling with his guts hanging out essentially. And what happens? Well, he gets hit by a car, just like that, and you feel for the character. He's beaten, he's battered, and all he wanted to do was be a hero. This book really could have been a one shot of just some poor schmuck, wanting to be a hero and absolutely getting, you know, just obliterated. Because the book ends with just him on the ground, with a funny joke, 2 broken legs, my spine crushed, and depressed, and dressed like a pervert. My dad was going to kill me. So the book's very humorful too. It is very what would happen if just I or you became a hero. And I like that. So if you just want a very grounded book, look at this book. And I know I probably didn't talk a lot about the art or the storytelling, but I feel like not a whole lot to talk. This, as much as like John Romita Jr., he doesn't break the mold or do, his pencils are really sharp. He does really good artwork, but it's so good that it doesn't break the mold in a lot of ways. It's a very straightforward classic comic style where you read it, it's really good, and there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's not like Jeff Darrow, who I could talk about for hours about that hyper detail. Like, I love the outfit right there. It looks really good. Like I said, you can tell the weight. You can tell it sticks to Dave. All the folds, all the wrinkles. It's really good. But that's it for issue 1. I guess maybe we'll do 2 issues at a time then, because I didn't think I was gonna finish this book in only 20 minutes essentially. But yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Look, the pencils just look so good. Like, is there an art edition of Kick-Ass? I'd love to see that. Let me know down below if there is, or I guess I can look that up, because I want to read the black and whites now if they exist, because I feel like we could talk about that more. Like, the coloring's good, the coloring's solid, but maybe it's so solid it does kind of, muddy his really fine line work a little bit, you know. But no, we will probably be doing 2 issues at a time then. Like I said, I didn't think it would only take me 20 minutes to look at one book. We've been doing a lot of 40-minute videos, so I feel kind of like a fool to only have 20 minutes. But no, if you made it to the end, thank you. That really helps us out. If you found something you liked, like, comment, subscribe. That especially helps us out. That gets the algorithm going. It gets these videos out to more people. Maybe there's some people who want to listen to it even, a little bit more. Or I said that wrong. Get people who want to listen to it. We're a growing community. We're at 38 subscribers right now. Our summer goal is 40. And I know we're going to hit it by the end of this month. Once we do, I think me and my co-host, who we just did a video, so I just have to edit that and post it. And it's probably the best and funnest video I have done on this channel. It was a lot of fun doing it with him. He's been in one video before, Dylan, and he's a phenomenal artist. He's a phenomenal person to work with. He's been my best friend since the 2nd grade. It's just great. He's great. He's really good at dissecting art too. He's great at also telling what was going on during the time. I might be much more of a dreamer technically wise. He's very, well, historian, if you will, and that it adds a lot to the reviews. So definitely gonna get that video out. I think that's gonna be like a weekend video. Oh, if we only do videos Monday to Friday, but I'll probably post that on the weekend. But no, like, comment, subscribe if you found something you liked. It helps us out a lot. Like I said, it helps the algorithm. If there's something you liked in this video, let me know. If there's something I could do better, let me know. I'm growing with this with you guys, so just let me know what I can do. But yeah, I guess that's it. So I guess I'll send you on some marching orders, and I'm out of here. Make more art.